Coming up in this week's episode of Coast News, the reopening date for Test Track at EPCOT has officially been announced, and new updates for an iconic attraction at Pleasure Beach Resort have been revealed. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight: Walt Disney World have announced the reopening date of Test Track at EPCOT. And I'm so glad to finally see that this ride is reopening after over a year of refurbishment. And literally it's one of my favourite attractions at EPCOT. I'm so glad that they've given it a new lease on life with a new renovation. I loved Test Track 2.0, but this whole new version, this newest iteration of the attraction they're doing actually looks really promising. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically after over a year of renovation, Test Track is set to reopen at EPCOT in less than 1 month's time. Test Track is a high-speed dark ride manufactured by Dynamic Attractions. Opening in December 1998 at EPCOT in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, Test Track was originally sponsored by General Motors and replaced the previous World of Motion attraction. The ride cost an estimated $300 million to build and is the fastest attraction Disney has built across all of their parks and resorts, reaching a top speed of 64.9 miles per hour. In 2012, Test Track was given its first full reimagining, which involved Chevrolet as its new sponsor and a complete modernisation of the story and technology used throughout the ride. Part of this renovation involves the story of being able to build your own car and test it throughout a digital landscape, which was the ride's setting. In 2023, Disney announced that Test Track would close for yet another refurbishment, and General Motors would replace Chevrolet and return as the ride's sponsor. The newest iteration of Test Track is heavily inspired by the original World of Motion ride, will include a brand new musical score and all new scenes that highlight new technologies which make cars smarter and more advanced. Test Track is scheduled to reopen on the 22nd of July 2025. So yeah, by the sounds of it, they are once again giving this whole ride a brand new update, which they're bringing back the General Motors sponsorship. They're drawing inspiration from the World of Motion attraction, which Test Track actually replaced. That's a cool little nod to the past, because let's not forget, World of Motion was an opening day of attraction at EPCOT, which opened way back in 1982. So the fact that this newest iteration of Test Track is drawing inspiration from that is actually really cool. And also all the new modern technologies that they're going to highlight in this attraction, I honestly cannot wait for. I am kind of gutted that they are removing the build your own car feature from which Test Track 2.0 had. That was probably one of my favourite parts of that iteration of the attraction when I went to it as recently as 2019. However, this whole brand new version of the attraction sounds really cool, and actually hopefully it'll make up for the removal of the build your own car feature. But either way, I'm really excited to see what this new version of Test Track will look like when it opens on the 22nd of July. In other news today, Pleasure Beach Resort have officially revealed the new details for the updates for Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic. And I still cannot believe that we are finally getting an update to this attraction based on the most recent Wallace and Gromit film. But if you don't know the story behind this news update, basically Pleasure Beach Resort have confirmed that brand new additions and enhancements will be added to the Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic attraction this summer. Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic is a WGH transportation dark ride which opened in 2013 at Pleasure Beach Resort in Blackpool, England. Replacing the classic Goldmine attraction, the ride is themed around the iconic Wallace and Gromit claymation films by Aardman Animations. On Christmas Day 2024, the newest Wallace and Gromit film, Vengeance Most Foul, premiered on BBC iPlayer in the UK and Netflix internationally, received critical acclaim from viewers and even won a BAFTA award. Prior to the start of the 2025 season, Pleasure Beach Resort had confirmed that Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic would be updated to include scenes based on Vengeance Most Foul. Most recently, the park revealed new details about the ride's upcoming enhancements. The refurbishment will introduce 5 new additions to the attraction, including several fan-favourite characters from Vengeance Most Foul. Updates to the queue line and exclusive merchandise will also be introduced following the refurbishment. Armour are working closely with Pleasure Beach, with the new props and set pieces being designed in-house by Pleasure Beach themselves. The new additions to Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic will debut this summer. So, like I said at the start, I am so glad that they are updating this attraction, and not also to include scenes based on Vengeance Most Foul, because I saw that film the night it came out and it is honestly so brilliant. It's such a funny, hilarious film, and the fact that they're now updating the Thrill-O-Matic attraction at Pleasure Beach to include scenes based on that film is just absolutely incredible. We don't know what specific date these new additions will be implemented. It could be around maybe July, August time. We don't know yet, but I'm actually really intrigued to see what this will look like when it is finally revealed to the general public. They have stated that they will put in the same sort of minute detail as they have with the rest of the attraction, so that is very promising. And I honestly, I just cannot wait for these new additions to be added to Thrill-O-Matic. Also in the news today, Universal Destinations and Experiences have revealed yet a brand new location for a second Universal's Horror Unleashed. And this was actually pretty unexpected, because bearing in mind, Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas hasn't even opened yet, and they've already announced that they're building a brand new second Horror Unleashed somewhere else in the United States, which is actually crazy. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Universal Destinations and Experiences have confirmed that they plan to open a second Horror Unleashed attraction in the United States. This time it will be located in Chicago, Illinois. The first Horror Unleashed attraction is set to open in Las Vegas, Nevada this August, and will feature several scare attractions based on some of Universal's most popular horror films. An opening date for the Chicago attraction is not yet known, and further details will be announced in the coming weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much all we know about the Chicago location at the moment. It has only been announced, like I think yesterday it was first announced. But this like I said, this was quite unexpected, because Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas hasn't opened yet. It's not going to open until about August. It does sound really promising though, because I've never been to any Universal park at all, so I don't know what their Halloween Horror Nights events are like, but apparently they are absolutely incredible. Like literally they're such a world-class Halloween event, and essentially Horror Unleashed is just Halloween Horror Nights but in like a year-round location-based experience, which honestly sounds so cool. And they announced, I believe it was last year, they announced they were opening Universal Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas, and that's set to open this August. So that maybe that'll most likely be really well received, because they absolutely nailed their Halloween Horror Nights in their theme parks. So I'm sure this will be a pretty successful attraction too. So Universal must have predicted this and decided, because they're being so confident with this, they are now deciding to build a second Horror Unleashed, this time in Chicago. So, you know, it sounds absolutely incredible. We don't know when this is going to open yet. It'll probably be next year at the earliest. I don't know. I don't know how long these take to build. I believe the first Horror Unleashed was announced not last year, the year before. So maybe 2026 or 27, the Chicago one might open. We'll have to wait and see. But it's all just a matter of how well the Las Vegas location is received, which, like I said, is Universal creating this attraction. They absolutely nail their Halloween Horror Nights events every year, so I'm sure this will be no exception. And overall, it sounds really promising what they're doing, and I cannot wait for all this to unfold. And finally, in the news today, Universal Destinations and Experiences have taken the next step in the planning process for Universal Studios Great Britain. And I just cannot believe how close we are to seeing this. We're getting closer every single day to this park becoming a reality. I know it's 6 years away, but just remember, every single day this park is getting closer to becoming a real thing, and that is absolutely crazy. But if you don't know what's going on, basically Universal Studios Great Britain is a proposed theme park and resort scheduled to open in 2031 in Bedford, England. Upon opening, the planned theme park is estimated to generate up to 28,000 jobs and over £50 billion for the UK tourism industry. Along with the construction of the brand new theme park, the plans also include several transportation upgrades in the local area, including an expansion to Wixham's railway station, new slip roads from the A421, upgrades to Manor Road and several other road improvements. This past Thursday, Universal Destinations and Experiences submitted a request for a special development order to the UK government. If granted, this will allow the plans to bypass the planning process through the local council. Once the request has been received, the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government will invite representations on the environmental statement, as well as plans, documents and drawings submitted in relation to the proposed development. Once the planning stage is complete, construction on Universal Studios Great Britain is expected to begin in 2026 and will take approximately 5 years to complete. So honestly, these are such exciting times in the UK theme park industry. This is actually a promising thing because a special development order essentially means that they are bypassing the planning stage through the local council, who we know will approve of this project anyway, because the local Bedfordshire Council have been very supportive of the Universal Great Britain project ever since it was first announced. So hopefully, essentially once this bypassed, this special development order is granted, planning permission should pretty much be ready. It should all be granted, good to go, and once that's done, over the next few months or so, up until the new year next year, or maybe, we don't know when next year it's meant to start construction, but hopefully it shouldn't be too far into the year. But once this request has been granted and planning permission has been fully approved, it shouldn't be too. They will probably spend the next few months doing a lot of groundwork and site surveys and whatnot. Basically, all these sort of groundwork and the preparations you do before starting proper vertical construction, and then at some point next year it will begin and start to take shape, and that's when things will get really sort of unreal in a way. I honestly cannot wait to see what this looks like when it gets built, and 2031 can't come any quicker. So that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment what you would like to see in the next video. Goodbye.